The Atlanta Falcons just gutted this roster, cutting over 20 players, placing stars on season-ending IR, and cutting the list down to 53. We investigate the brutal strategy behind this massive overhaul and what it signals for the future. Now, right now, guys, going into this season, we expected to see somewhat the same team that we saw last season. And for some reason, this team looked totally different. I mean, Grady Jarrett gone. James Smith Williams is gone. Who else is gone? Now Taquan Graham, he's gone. It just looked totally different now. And some of the players that we thought wouldn't make this roster has somehow found their way inside the door. But let's go over this thing. What's up, Falcon family? My Dirty Bird Nation, you know what it is. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Atlanta Falcons Pandemic, the show built for the fans, by the fans. We're the heartbeat of the Dirty Birds faithful, where my fellow Fandemics never waver and the passion never dies. I am your Falconologist, Manuel McFarland, the true and trusted voice of the diehard Falcon Nation who live and breathe this team. So, guys, it's official. The 53-man roster is official. It is set. And folks, there are some legitimate shockers on this list. I mean, we're talking about a roster bloodbath. Like I was just saying, the roster looks seemingly different. Some moves were just outright stunning. I mean, we've seen some tough cuts before. This just looks different. Players shown the door and moves that have left the fan base wondering, and a massive question mark hanging over the most important position group on the team. But the biggest news of the day is a desperate last-minute trade for a much-needed offensive tackle that tells you everything about the state of this team. We're breaking down every single move and what it means for the Falcons 2025 season right now. Now, this tackle, guys, is he's new to the Falcons, but he's not new to the Falcons. And I'll get into that in just a second. The entire season for the Atlanta Falcons could hinge on the offensive line. And today, that unit was thrown into an absolute chaos, forcing Terry Fontenot's hand to officially place starting right tackle Caleb McGarry on season-ending injury reserve. This is the worst-case scenario, guys. This is what we were talking about. McGarry is the established anchor on that right side, the man tasked with protecting the blind side of our starting quarterback, Michael Penix Jr. So what did the Falcons do? They got on the phone, made a trade out of pure necessity. The Falcons addressed their injury-plagued offensive line by trading a traditional 2020 7th-round pick to the Seattle Seahawks for offensive lineman Michael Jarrell. The move provided much depth needed and competition at right tackle, especially with injuries to the projected starters. Now, the 26-year-old, I'm going to remind you who he is before I get into that. I'm going to remind you who he is. You remember when the Seattle Seahawks came here last year? You remember the rookie that gave Matthew Judon all he can handle? That kept Matthew Judon from being even a factor in the game? You remember the rookie that came into practice 3 days before they played us? They called him up 3 days before they played us to fill in. He filled in. Excuse me. And this rookie, I'm not going to say manhandled Matthew Judon, but he made Matthew Judon a non-factor. So this is actually a decent pick for Atlanta, a decent trade for Atlanta. But this 26-year-old, a 2024 sixth-round pick that had 3 starts in his NFL career and a 64.8 PFF grade, he will compete for a starting job with Elijah Wilkinson until the Falcons' injured tackles return. And guys, this is the guy that I think that could come in and uproot Elijah Wilkinson. Up until date, Elijah Wilkinson didn't have a good preseason. I think he's here because he's familiar with the scheme, he's familiar with the locker room, and he's been here before. But he did not have a good preseason. And I think if Caleb McGarry was healthy, he might not be on this team. Of course, we got Tyron Whitley, who's also on IR, along with Storm Norton. I think if we had to pick between Tyrone Wheatley and Elijah Wilkinson, I think the scale tilts toward Elijah Wilkinson. Tyrone Wheatley. But hey, Elijah Wilkinson is here. Tyrone Wheatley's on the IR. In comes Michael Jarrell. And lo and behold, we have a starter and backup and a depth piece, right? But let's get to the surprise cuts before we finish talking about Michael Jarrell. I'm actually surprised Seattle let him go. But anyway, let's get to the surprise cuts. No news to nobody. No new news to anybody. Everybody knows about the release of defensive lineman Morgan Fox. The biggest surprise was the release of this veteran. He signed this offseason and was cut. And, and his release is a significant dead cap hit for the team. So it's one to think about. And I'm going to tell you about another player that is another dead cap hit to the team. So I'm feeling like Atlanta just out here throwing away money. But I get into this other player here in just a second. But despite his experience and veteran status, he was unable to secure a spot on the final roster. All right, let's next surprise cut. Quarterback Eastern Stick. With Kirk Cousins and rookie Michael Penix locked in as the 2 top quarterbacks, the Falcons made the somewhat surprising decision to waive veteran quarterback Eastern Stick. While many expected the team to keep 3 quarterbacks, the move indicates confidence in their 2 top callers and opens up a valuable roster spot. I really, with the way this thing is looking, it seemed like Terry Fontenot had something up his sleeve too. So, but I don't know. I handled that in another video, but it's like he had something up his sleeve. But anyway, another surprise cut was cornerback CJ Henderson. The release of the veteran cornerback was a notable surprise. He was signed in the offseason and a former first-round pick, but his inconsistent play in the preseason led to his, release. And my thing is, some players can go to another situation and become a different player, right? But when you have a team like Carolina who was already hurt on defense, they are looking for players to stand out on defense, and they let a player like CJ Henderson go. Now I know he's one of these guys that he's inconsistent as far as standing, having his availability. He stays hurt, but he do make plays when he's in the game. So it's not a surprise cut for me, but the Falcons released him nonetheless. One surprise that is surprising to me, Jordan Fuller, safety Jordan Fuller. His release was a bit of a surprise. Many expected his experience to secure him a spot in the secondary. I thought the same thing as well. I thought he was a bona fide fit. But when you have young guys take that back. When Terry Fontenot said he's going to build this team on youth, Jordan Fuller was the odd man out. And then you have the young guys that have come in that have performed very well. So it was a no-brainer for Terry Fontenot to make this decision. Also, we released Brandon Parker. You would think that he would have been a sure end since Michael Gary's out, right? But after competing for a roster spot in the preseason, veteran offensive tackle Brandon Parker was also a surprise cut. And that's it all on my surprise cuts. Now, the next list, the not surprising cuts, the Falcons had a very competitive training camp at several positions. all positions, as a matter of fact, except quarterback. But well, even then, Easton Stick made the quarterback room very competitive. But as a result, a number of players who were on the bubble were let go. The cuts were largely anticipated given the depth at their respective positions. Running back Joshon Corbin, that was a very surprise cut to me. I thought for sure he would come in and earn that third, quarterback spot. I mean, running back spot. But in comes Nathan Carter, who told Joshon, not today, not today. And I get into about him in just a second. So yeah, running back Joshua Corbin, running back Carlos Washington, who just didn't see a lot of look. Plus, he got hurt, so uh, he's not a surprise cut to me. Uh, let's see who else. Running back Elijah Dotson. The Falcons had a crowded backfield, and the cuts there, when you got two guys like Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, and then in comes Nathan Carter, everybody else becomes obsolete. I mean, the way Nathan Carter came in and represented himself. He performed, he conquered, he won. And when you have a third quarterback, and he just made that real easy decision for Terry Fontenot to just get rid of everybody else. But next one is Lenny Craig. I was absolutely floored and surprised about this one. One, because his name, or shall I say, he does not count toward, no matter any which way, he does not count toward the 53-man roster. So this was, I thought we were going to actually go into the season with two kickers. But after losing the kicking competition to Younghoe Koo, the German-born kicker was waived. He is a strong candidate, though, to be signed to the practice squad through the International Player Pathworthy program. But I got a feeling, guys, we're going to lose Lenny Craig if he hits that practice squad. I think once he hit that practice squad, teams got 24 hours or 48 hours to inquire about him. I'm not sure how that goes, but you talking about a guy who got one heck of a leg. He kicking 70-yard field goals, something that we could very well use, but his accuracy is another one. He has a strong leg. But man, I'm surprised we let him go. But anyway, on to the next player. Defensive lineman Simeon Barrow, who signed as an undrafted free agent. Barrow was a long shot, guys. He was. I went back and I watched that Dallas game, and he just kind of looked out of it. I think I'm not sure if he was tired or he just said, "Hey, it wasn't worth it." But in that Dallas game, guys, he had a couple of good series, and then after that, he was a no-show. I think he had got tired. I really did. But he had a solid preseason. Overall, he just didn't turn enough heads. Linebacker Ronnie Harrison, inside linebacker Caleb Johnson, inside linebacker Nick Kubitz. The Falcons opt for other players at a crowded linebacker room. That was another core that was full of talent, the linebacker core. But Troy Anderson, I think he throws a monkey wrench into everything about this one right here. Of course, these three linebackers here were kind of the odd three out, because when you got players like Josh Woods, who came in and just showed off. And then, I think what the Falcons are counting on is Troy Anderson coming back later in the season and being available, as opposed to being available at the front part of the season where he normally gets hurt. I don't know, guys. I mean, I'm not the general manager. I don't make the decision, but this running back room, I mean quarterback, linebacker room was just as thick as any other position that we would have people competing for. But the quarterback, Ben DiNucci, we kind of knew he was gone. The way Easton Stick played, nobody outperformed Easton Stick, so everybody after him, whether it be, well, Emory Jones is still here, so that's surprising. But he was hurt. He's going to be placed on IR, I believe. I have to look into that. But Ben DiNucci, he was just a practice body, I think, preseason game. And he was just brought on just in case Easton Stick wouldn't be able to go. Wide receiver Jesse Matthews, wide receiver Quincy Skinner, wide receiver Nick Nash, Chris Blair, who was an absolute surprise, guys. Chris Blair had a phenomenal camp, phenomenal preseason games. So that surprised me. I wouldn't be a bit surprised, guys, if he ends up on somebody else's team. If he goes to Carolina, we in trouble. If he goes to Carolina, I'm not gonna say we in trouble because the coach is still over there, still doesn't have it together in Carolina, but they will be competitive. They will be competitive. I'm hoping that Chris Blair ends up on the practice squad. I'm not sure what's going to happen to him, and also wide receiver Dylan Drummond. But back to Chris, man, I don't understand that release at all. Uh, I mean, I can't even explain it, guys. I'm sorry, I can't. We also have released Kobe Bryant, who got hurt early in camp, and he just didn't do enough on his return to turn any heads. And he's a fan favorite. I think his jerseys would have sold off the shelf when it came to the younger. And when I say younger, I mean like teenage fans and lower and younger. You know, those would have been the guys that went in there and you know and followed Kobe Bryant. You know, buying his jersey, buying his gear. Like I said, he's a fan favorite. His following is crazy. Because he do a lot of TikTok stuff, and so he's a socialist. Um, Lamar Jackson, uh, significant competition over at cornerback, guys, and both of these players, they both could have, if given more time, I think they would have. I don't know about Lamar, but I think Kobe would have made a name for himself. If he had more time, if he had never got hurt. Because you remember early on in camp, he intercepted Cousins and he intercepted Penix. And Easter, no, it was in. Well, I don't know who it was. I know he picked off two. I believe it was, but Kobe just. And another thing about him too, he was just a little thin. He needed to pick up a lot of weight. You know, I think the fact that he got hurt. I don't know if it was during a drill or during actual one on ones, but uh, Kobe Bryant just needed to pick up a little weight. I love Kobe, but he just needed to pick up a little weight. Uh, the tight end Nikola Kalanick. I'm not even trying to pronounce the name, guys. The tight end room, it was tight as well, just like any other position on the team. But coming behind Kyle Pitts, Charlie Warner, and who's the other guy? Teagan, and Felipe Franks. Yeah, these two right here. I mean, Nicola was just he didn't he was just his odds were just stacked up against him. Uh, I hadn't heard anything about what happened to Joshua Smith. If anybody know what happened to Joshua Smith, please drop it in the comments. I'm gonna try to research and find out what happened because he's another tight end, but I didn't see his name on none of the lists. But if you guys have seen it, let me know. But it'll be interesting to find out where he went. Safety Josh Thomas, he was also released. Which was a surprise to me because we now only have three, maybe four. I think it's three starting safeties. Yeah, I think it's three starting safeties. So we got uh, Jesse Bates, of course. Let's see who's the other one. DeMarco Hellams, Xavier Watts. Yeah, we only got three starting safeties, which is interesting. And one name I do not see on this list, which is crazy. No, it's on this. No, I don't see his name on the list. Billy Bowman, but I know he made the team. I'm just saying I don't see it. See it on the list. Oh, there it is. There it is. Covered by. But yeah, but yeah. Other than that, man, most teams carry like four, maybe five safeties. We got three, and I think yeah, that's it. That's it. But Josh Thompson was the odd man out when DeMarco came back playing the way he did. Xavier had a very solid, very nice preseason, and of course you can't outdo Jesse Bates. But yeah, And I think Billy Bowman can play both of them. He can play safety and corner, and the way he been playing, he was looking like a linebacker out there too. So, or should I say, the way he was hitting? But yeah, that does it on the safeties. But edge wise, Ronnie Perkins got released. Uh, Khaled Kareem, I was asking about him the other day because nobody was talking about him. He was released as well. But when you have a defense like the one we have, the makeup, Brandon Dorless, he can actually jump out there and play edge. Uh, and he did it over with Oregon, so he has experience doing that. You know, I mean, guys, I don't know if he was just not fast enough or what, not enough experience under his belt, but I don't know why he was released. Of course, you didn't hear his name a whole lot last season either. He made a few plays last season that, you might think, okay, he's young, he still learn something, but apparently this year they didn't see it that way. Maybe he wasn't young enough. But on to the offensive lineman, we had Matthew Centric that got released, and also Joshua Gray. And I do believe both of these were guards and not tackles, if I'm not mistaken. But they were waived as well. But I don't know if either one of them could have moved over to tackle, or do any one of these two have experience as a tackle, but obviously not if both of those got released. One surprise was defensive lineman Contavious Street. We had talked about him in one of the podcasts, and he's a veteran. He's considered to be a veteran, right? And we were saying at the onset of the preseason that these veterans are going to have to come in and earn their spot, right? So apparently he didn't do quite enough. And here's the thing too, and Morgan Fox falls into this same category. When you are a veteran like these guys, and you get put into the game or put into a face-off against rookies and undrafted free agents, and you don't turn heads, yeah, you don't. It's not a good look. That's the point where you should be, as a veteran, you should be eating. I mean, you should be making plays, and neither one of these two. Now, granted, Morgan Fox did have a solid preseason, but it was not the turn your head type moment. Neither was Contavious Street, so they were just out there. You know what I mean? But I don't know. But he's released as well. Now we have the players that were placed on injured reserve. Caleb McGarry, as you know, leg injury, and he now been designated. He will not return this season, so that is a big blow to us. I was actually looking forward to him being the one that protects Michael Penix on that blind side. Not only is he hurt, his backup Storm Norton, the swing tackle, he's on IR, but he has a date to return. I'm gonna say he has a designation to return, meaning he can come back after the fourth game, he might as well say after the bye week, after the fifth week, he can come back. So hopefully that's the case for him. Another blow we had was Jake Hansen, another offensive lineman. He's a center. He was placed on injured reserve and expected to miss the entire season. So this is a blow. Now, do we have who's the backup center now? Let's see. Oh, Javon. Okay, he's the backup center. So hopefully Newzil can stay healthy the whole season and not miss a game. But Javon Gruen is the backup center. So we're in good hands here. But Newzil do need to stay healthy for the remainder of the season, for the whole season, shall I say. I think if he has fun out there, he's going to stay healthy. If we're winning, he's going to stay healthy. Most players tend to get hurt when we're out there and we're just not performing very well. But hopefully that'll change this season. No news to nobody was Troy Anderson. He's on the physically unable to perform list and was moved to the reserve pup list and will miss at least 4 games, at least. So After the bye week, we stand to get back Troy Anderson as well as Storm Norton, which is a big bonus. How Troy is going to do when he comes back, who knows? Is he the same person? Who knows? But anyway, one major surprise, one major surprise for me was Taquan Graham, defensive lineman. He was also placed on IR with a destination to return. I didn't know he was hurt, but opening the roster spot and providing an option for a mid-season return. And this is what I was talking about yesterday too on another podcast. How Atlanta can actually take advantage of this new rule that the NFL has about placing players on IR. Atlanta can actually put up to 8 players on IR. Only 2 cannot count against the 53-man roster. So Atlanta can actually take advantage of this. We can actually place guys on IR and actually retain them, and be able, as long as they have a destination to return, we can place them on IR. But guys, let's see who's the okay. Braylon Trice is still here. He's gonna What surprised me is LaCal London is still here. That's what surprised me. So Mike Ford is going to still be here in the nickel package. Natron Brooks is a no-brainer. He's going to be still here. He's a special teams guy. Who else? I'm just not wondering about. I'm done wondering about D Alford, man. I mean, he didn't look good all preseason. Every rookie he faced had a pretty good preseason against him, and that's not a good look for a veteran cornerback or any veteran to have a rookie come in, especially with the extensive amount of experience that he has. D. Alford, he's still young, but still, he's been around a minute. But he's projected to be the starter when it comes to that. Dog got up under the table and got tangled up in the cords. But he predicted to be a starter in that nickel package. But I don't know, guys. I don't know. But what surprised me too is that Younghoe Koo won that kicking battle. That's what surprised me. So apparently, Raheem Morris is satisfied with Koo and is expressing his faith in him. He's going to keep his faith in him. Not saying Koo wasn't that bad. He wasn't awful, but at the same time, everybody was thinking that Lenny Craig was going to uproot him. But anyway, also on IR, guys, we have Malik Vernon and safety Graylin Arnold. Both of those guys are on IR too. Malik Vernon is a linebacker. He has a date to return, actually. Also on IR, Tyrone Wheatley and Emory Jones. Both of those guys on IR. And I'm thinking they're going to make the practice squad. Tyrone Wheatley he definitely needs to be on the practice squad. I don't think nobody's going to pick him up. He's been on the practice squad with us before. So, and actually have been on the team before, part of the 53 before too. So he has experience with us, which is definitely a good thing. But guys, there you have it. My breakdown of the Atlanta Falcons 2025 53-man roster cut reaction. Fellow Findemics, how are you feeling about this team? Remember, I was saying I'm overly optimistic. I'm just going to say it like that. But now with these roster cuts, are you like me? Are you overly optimistic, or are you just ho-hum? Do you like what a team how they look as it stands? Let me know down in the comment section who you would have kept and what are your thoughts. Once again, guys, thank you for watching, supporting this channel. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this video, and hit that notification bell. And before I close out, if you guys have anything or any player that you want me to highlight, any subject you want me to highlight, drop it in the comment section, and I'll be happy to do it. But until next time, guys, always continue to rise up. Out. All right, Pandemic family, that's a wrap for this episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in and sharing your passion for our Atlanta Falcons with us. Your energy and support are what make this community truly special. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a 2 thumbs up, leave a comment below with your thoughts, and of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our exciting content. And seriously, don't forget to hit that notification bell right next to that subscribe button so that you'll be the first to know when we drop new videos about our beloved Dirty Birds. And as always, continue to rise up, and we'll see you in the Super Bowl.